What's up, guys? So in this video I'm going to talk about the dark web. Why is the dark web so popular or notorious? What actually goes down there? And is this something that you want to be visiting or something that you should avoid? So this is going to be a very interesting video. Okay, so without further ado, let's begin. So before I define what the dark web is, I think it's best I talk about the World Wide Web, or the internet as you know it. And a very good analogy would be the iceberg analogy. So now, if you look at an iceberg, what you're actually seeing is just this, okay, which is the surface, the tip, a very small part of what the iceberg is. That's why when you hear things like, it's just the tip of the iceberg. It's just a very small part. Now, putting that into, everything about the, the World Wide Web and all, this is the surface web. What it means is that this is something that is publicly available to everybody. It is the surface web, but it's just a very small part of what the internet, of what's out there in the internet. Okay? So like an iceberg is just a very small part. A lot of stuff is hidden here, and that is what is known as the deep web. Now, a lot of people confuse the deep web to be the dark web, but they are two separate things. The deep web is not the dark web. Now, what is the deep web? The deep web is just that part of the internet that is not indexed by search engines. Now, what it means that search engines cannot find what's on the deep web. Okay, it's they are probably private information, things that require a special access to enter. Now, some sites can restrict it. I could, if I'm developing a website, I could indicate in my robot file that, hey, I don't want search engines to crawl my website, and automatically my website becomes part of the deep web. Okay, it could also be maybe a site that require you to log in, a site that will need special access. It's also part of the deep web. So as you can see, deep web is not a dangerous place. No, it's just that part of the internet that is not publicly available. It's not available to everybody. To require some sort of special access, but you can still access the deep web with a regular browser. Okay, all you just need is a special, maybe if you put the URL directly, you can still go to the deep web. It might not come up on Google, but if you know the URL and put the URL, the address, it will still give you access, maybe with a password or something, depending on how it's configured. Now, that is the deep web. Now, going further down, we now have what is known as the dark web, which is just a small part, if I would explain it that way, a small part of the deep web. Now, the dark web cannot be accessed by your regular browser. It will actually require some special software to access the dark web. And the thing with the dark web is that it's kind of, in layman's terms, right? It's a place where you can go and you are basically anonymous, because your traffic, your activity, your internet activity, your IP address, it gets routed through several nodes before it reaches the destination. So assuming now, let's say you're on the surface web now, and maybe I go to facebook.com. Now, Facebook will know where I am visiting from. They will know where I am. Okay, I'm in Nigeria, and they can log my IP address and everything. Now, if I'm on the dark web and I go visiting that site, or whichever site, that site will not know where I am. I mean, they are going to see an IP address, but then again, it's not exactly where I am. Okay, so I'm going through several nodes to actually reach my destination. So in that way, I'm kind of, in a way, anonymous. So that's just in layman's terms what the dark web is. Now, it's very useful in some cases, maybe where there is there are privacy concerns. Maybe you are not cool with many of these websites here logging your information, and everybody needs their privacy. Okay, so maybe you're not cool with many of these sites in the surface web. If you're not cool with them logging your information, then and you want a place where you want to be anonymous and everything, then the dark web is for you. If you're also in a place maybe where free speech is being trampled upon, and you need maybe you might be a journalist, you need to get something out anonymously. All right, the dark web is also a good place where you'd probably, let's say, feel at home. Now, it's also quite understandable that because of the anonymous nature of the dark web, it's also a place, it's also a haven for criminals and illegal activity. So a lot of illegal activity happens on the dark web, and it's understandable because if I'm doing a lot of illegal activity on the surface web, I could easily be detected. But if I'm doing a lot of illegal activity on the dark web, then it makes it harder because it's very, very hard to trace where the person is coming from. So because of that, the dark web now has this it's kind of notorious for being that haven where a lot of illegal activity happens. Okay, so that's just a very, very layman's term of what the dark web is. And like I said, it requires special software. Your Google Chrome or your Firefox or Edge, it won't really be able to access the dark web. So I'm going to talk about the tools you need if you want to access the dark web. Okay? So to access the dark web sites, you will need some special software. It's not something that you can use Google Chrome or any of your regular browsers to do. You will need some special software to do that. There are a few ways to access the dark web. The most popular by far is by using a tool known as Tor. T-O-R. It also stands for the Onion Router. Okay? Now, if you want to download Tor, just come over to Google and just type Tor. Now, the very first site that comes up, you see it's the Tor Project Anonymity Online. That's what you are going to click. Now, it brings you to their site. This is where you download the Tor browser. It's a browser, okay? It's familiar with just like your normal Google Chrome, but it has some other features that help you to access those dark websites. So what you need to do is come here to download Tor browser, okay? And then you now select whichever platform you are using. If you are using Windows, Mac, Linux, or Android, just select them and you download them. So if you don't have it installed, I'd advise you to come here. You can pause the video, download it, and install it. And when you are done, the installation is just straightforward, very straightforward. And when you are done, you can now unpause the video. So this is the Tor browser. As you can see, it's just like any regular browser. You can browse your normal sites which you are used to. You can go to Facebook, Google, YouTube, all the sites that you're used to. And it can also do something extra. It can also visit those dark websites that we talked about. As you can see now, it says explore privately. You're ready for the world's most private browsing experience. The default search engine is DuckDuckGo. Because as a lot of you know, DuckDuckGo is not meant to track your internet activity, unlike Google, which does. So it's not really as effective as Google, but it does the job in keeping you anonymous. Now, the Tor browser, like I said, you can access. I could come here, I could go to facebook.com, okay, anything.com, whatever. And I could also access what are known as .onion sites. Now, those are the sites that you find on the dark web. They end with .onion. Onion, O-N-I-O-N. You know how similar some sites end with maybe .com, okay, .net, .com, .org. Now if you see any site that has the .onion, it's probably a dark website, and it'll probably be some like weird characters, maybe like something like this, something like this. There may be .onion. So there's no point even cramming the name, because the thing that it can even change over time. Just some weird characters .onion. Now those are the dark web links. Okay. Now I know some of you will be like, okay, how do I access dark web links? How can I go to those sites? Well, that's for you to do some more research. Okay, I'm not going to like go and show you, okay, this is where you're supposed to go, this is where you're supposed to go, okay? But I'll just give you a glimpse of what the dark web is. So I'm going to go to a particular site right now. This is an onion site, and I'm just going to press enter. It's Hidden Wiki site. It's what's known as Hidden Wiki. As you can see here, that's the name, Hidden Wiki. So you can even research about it, and Hidden Wiki will basically give you a list of onion links that you can go and click on, and then to take you to those particular sites. Okay, so now as you are here now, these are a list of onion links. Now there are so many Hidden Wiki sites. This isn't the only one. There are so many of them. Okay, so you can, when you go there, you will see some of the things, some of the links that they have. Okay, so this is one. Now as we are seeing search engines. Okay, other general stuff to see. So if I keep going down, now we have the financial services. Now we are seeing, okay, USD counterfeits. So if people want to buy counterfeits, they can also come here, and open. And then, I would also like to point out, that the dark web can be a very dangerous place. It can be a very, very dangerous place. So you should be mindful of the kind of things that you do on the dark web. Okay, I'm not liable, whatsoever. This video is just strictly for educational purposes. Okay, so you should just be mindful that a lot of stuff goes down, and there have been reports, I can't confirm it, but even just going to a site, which is illegal, can, even if you don't do anything, maybe just going there just to see, it just might not be so good. So you should be careful of the kind of things that you do on the dark web. Okay, so if I keep going down, now I'm saying, okay, commercial services, you can rent a hacker, USA citizenship, become a citizen of the USA, Hitman network, group of contract killers in the US, Canada, and the EU, original UK passports. Also, one thing I also want to point out, there is no honor amongst thieves. I just want to put it out there. There is no honor amongst thieves. So meaning that a site is saying it does this does not really mean that that site actually does that. There are also a lot of scammers on the dark web. Okay, so whatever you are going to go and do there, you should be aware of that. So I know some of you might be thinking, okay, so how can I go to a part? How will I know the site that is legit, where I can actually do my stuff? So if you want to do an illegal service, then it's not something I can help you with. I'm sorry. It's not something I can help you with. But if it's legit, if it's for a legal purpose, if it's something noble, then definitely if they're on the dark web, they should also be on the regular internet. Because I think even Facebook also has a dark web link. Facebook has its own dark website, okay? As in something.onion as well. So you can be able to find that as well. Okay, so I'm saying, okay, USA citizenship, rent a hacker. So many of this, Euro guns, UK guns and ammo, selling guns. And yes, some of them actually, contain a lot of this stuff. So there is paste bin. Let me go to blogs, fake checks, real, blah blah. So if you scroll down here, you see there are lots of crazy stuff does happen here. So much crazy stuff, and that you should be very careful, There are chat rooms as well. There are also social networks in the dark web as well. And you can go there. But and then again, whatever you do in the dark web, even if you must pay for something, use Bitcoin. Don't use your personal credit card or something like that. So we have also political advocacy. If I scroll down, there is whistleblowing, WikiLeaks. So this is what I talked about. Even journalists could this could also be very, very useful for some journalists and all. So this is just a bunch of stuff. The dark web is actually huge. Okay. So drug related, third drug resource, tons of stuff about drugs, also in drugs category, religion, weapons, making weapons, military training, collection of forbidden files and how-tos, parasites. Let me just click on that, okay, and see where it takes me. Okay, so we have drugs, non-commercial, adults, a lot of stuff happens here. So you should be careful of the kind of things you actually visit, okay, when you come to the dark web. So and it's also very possible that some sites might not open, it might be down. Like as you can see, this site is taking long to open, it might be down, and maybe another one will pop up at that time soon. Okay, so let me just scroll back up. Let me just see if there's anything interesting I can find. Okay, let me just say, okay, UK passports, US fake IDs. Okay, let me just click on, or let me say rent a hacker. Let me click on this one, rent a hacker. Let me turn off this one. It doesn't seem to be going anywhere. So let's go to the link which we opened. Now, counterfeit USD. Okay. Now, and notes are produced. This, as you can see, it ends with .onion, something .onion. Now it says our notes are produced of cotton-based paper. They pass the pen test without problems. UVI is incorporated, so they pass the UV test as well. They have all necessary security features to be spent at most retailers. Free shipping in the US. So now this is the rate they are selling it. Okay, you can see you pay in Bitcoin. Now like I said before, there is no honor amongst thieves. You can't really just because a site is saying we are this or we are this doesn't mean the site could be a site of a scammer and you go and pay your money. Because one thing you should ask yourself, if they're actually selling counterfeit, you are paying them real bills, you are paying them real actual money, and they are giving you counterfeits. So if their counterfeit can actually pass all these tests, then why can't they just spend it themselves? Why should they? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Okay? So these are things that you should be mindful of when visiting the dark web. Okay? It might be possible that maybe it might still be, in a way, they might have the bills, it might be able to pass some tests, but there is probably something, because they need your money, right? They need your actual money, and they're going to give you fake money. So these are things you should be mindful of, and why you should be very, very careful when you navigate the dark web. Okay, now if I open another tab here, I'm seeing rent a hacker. Now it's saying experienced hacker offering his services, and the prices. And what he said, hacking and social engineering my business since I was 16 years old. I never had a real job, blah 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 blah. So he's giving his services. I'm not doing this to make a few bucks here and there. I'm not from some crappy Eastern European country, Europe, and happy to scam people for 50 euros. I'm a professional computer expert who could earn 50 to 100 euros an hour with a legal job. These are his rates, okay? Small job, for example, email and Facebook. And then again, like I keep saying, if you choose to do this, you are doing this at your own risk. If you choose to trust someone in the dark web, you are doing it at your own risk. There's a lot of scam that happens there. There's a lot of also, actual stuff which they claim to do. It also does happen there. There's also a lot of exaggerations. I know personally I've I've heard about a lot of exaggerated, a lot of things that happen in dark web. I've not witnessed it myself. Like you hear stuff about maybe if some people, some people's fantasy can be maybe they want to watch someone get killed or something like that. And I hear that the dark web has something like this. I've not personally experienced or seen such type of things before. Okay, so this is just will I say beginner tour of the dark web and some of the things. So it's good, like I said, it's good for if it's privacy you're looking for, you could use Tor, and you don't need to worry about anybody getting a hold of where you are coming from or whatever. Okay, but it's also dangerous in the sense that there's a lot of illegal activity that does happen there. So much illegal stuff does happen there, and if you choose to get mixed up, you need to be aware that it's whatever you do, it's your responsibility, and you could actually get into jail. Yes, you could actually get into jail for doing something which you think is innocent but which might not actually be. Okay, so that's it for Tor. And if you watch some of my videos, I like to give options. Tor is not the only way you can also access the dark web. There are several. I mean, it's not just only with Tor you can access the dark web. So I'm just going to show you another way you can access the dark web. There is also something known as the I2P. Okay, I2P, or Invincible Internet Projects. That's Invincible Internet Projects. Now that can also be used to access the dark web. Okay, and the site that you now visit, like in Tor, now whatever site you are visiting is something.onion. Now if you are using the I2P, whatever you are visiting is .I2P. Okay, now to download that, you just type I2P. Let's search for it. We'll first search for I2P. So as you can see now, it's saying get i2p.net. Okay, that's site. Okay, so I'm just going to click on this Invisible Internet Project. So now, what does it do? The I2P network provides strong privacy protections for communication over the internet. Many activities that would risk your privacy on the public internet can be conducted anonymously inside I2P. Okay, so now you can come here, click get I2P. The installation is just a little bit more complex than that of Tor. But it does almost, the site you visit, you can easily get the .I2P links. And this is actually, this project, the I2P project is actually a true, if I would say, is a true darknet, like it was, while you can argue that, okay, Tor was made for maybe to browse anonymously or stuff like that, I could say this was actually meant to be a real darknet project. So if you want to do some research, you could do some reading on I2P and this is just, I'm just giving another option. If you don't want to go the Tor route, you could also come this route. Okay, so it's just an introduction. It's just an introduction, kind of like a dummy course to the dark web and what the dark web is about. So using it is, it's almost the same concept and all. So with that, I come to the end of the video. If you want to learn more, you can just come over here to I2P and read all about it. And I remember, be always careful, be mindful of what you do. Be very, very mindful of what you do online. Don't think that just because of you are using it, you are fully anonymous. I wouldn't say that. I would say it anonymizes you to a certain extent. Okay, that's just what I would say. I won't say you are completely anonymous. No, I won't say that. I don't believe there is any truly anonymous tool out there. That's just me, though. I believe that one way or the other you can be discovered. It's not going to be easy, of course, but it's very, very possible. Okay, So with that, I come to the end of this video. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, tell your friend, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Okay, and always practice safe browsing. Okay, so have a good day.